Movies have dropped 67% from last Monday. No, not from last Monday, last week. But it seems that Riss and also Trolls band together to a lesser extent, but Riss continues to struggle at the box office. Okay, this movie is continuing to struggle at the box office. So Riss falls below the average movie that opened to around 19 million. Yeah, this movie only opened to on the weekend 19 million. That's awful numbers for, of course, Riss. But things are only getting worse than Riss. Disney's fanboys are doing everything they can to defend this movie. They call you far right if you don't like this movie. Kind of like how they called us far right for not watching the Marvels too. And guess what? Nobody cared. The word far right is losing all meaning now, essentially, because the quote-unquote far right people are the majority of people who are boycotting this movie or not caring to see this movie. If you don't want to watch this movie, you're considered a Nazi. Like, what? Like, this is ridiculous. Like, no one cares about Disney's swap anymore. Okay? Disney's animation swap. And yes, people say about, how dare you have that one guy say, how dare you disrespect, how dare you call animation swap? No, I'm not calling animation swap. I'm calling modern Disney animation swap because there's nothing new with this. Okay, this is the same type of story that Disney has been selling since Tangled. You have a dorky main protagonist. You have a weird marketable plus character and a marketable animal character. A boring-ass villain no one cares about. Okay, this is nothing interesting. There is nothing good or interesting about this movie. No wonder why this movie is declining. Also, Trolls is declining. There's no interest in this movie. Whatsoever. For glad this IP is dying. And out of the big movies, Hunger Games again had one of the best holds of all the movies that of all the major movies in the theaters. Again, so-called flop is the one that's holding the best. It's the one that's holding the best. The movie also passed $100 million as well. But the so-called flop is the movie that's holding the best of all the movies, besides The Holdovers and Napoleon. Yeah, but again, The Hunger Games: Battle of the Snake was declared a flop on the first day, which is a stupid thing to do. But Trolls Band Together, I think, is doing the worst of them all. Again, this movie only cost a little bit to make, but $90 million make, but this new movie, that means the movie still needs like $200 million to make. If this movie is continuing to underperform this badly, Trolls is going to lose money. Okay? Simple as that. Okay? But this continues and continues to fall. And internationally, there's no interest in this movie. Okay? There's no interest in this movie anywhere. Okay? The movie hasn't released in Japan yet, or Italy, okay, or Brazil, or Korea. But those markets are not going to make any difference at all, because there's no interest in this in any markets, none at all. There is zero interest to see this movie, no matter where you go. Empty theaters, just like the Marvels. But don't worry, we're all far-right Nazis for not liking this movie. Just like if you don't like The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, you are a Nazi. Just like if you don't like the Marvels, you are a Nazi. And people are getting sick and sick of this so much. Well, people just had to give Disney the middle finger, and no one is watching this movie. And the ratings is starting to show it. The ratings for this movie is already pretty awful. An 83% drop. Again, this is a movie that's supposed to be celebrating 100 years of Disney. Well, I guess it must be 100 years of to waste, because this movie is awful and is making no money. Goodbye.